I woke up one morning and I'm getting ready for school and I'm like, ugh, school. So I'm getting my hair ready and, make sure my glasses are on. So then I see a little mole. I'm like, oh, it's just a mole, so it's okay. A few days later, at night, I was getting ready to go to bed and, brush your teeth and, all that good stuff. And I roll my sleeve up and I notice, like, something that's not a mole anymore. It used to be a mole, and look at that. It was like twice the size of what it was. So I'm like, what am I going to do with that? What is that? I don't know what that is. So I'm totally freaking out. Like, what is this big thing on my arm? Is it melanoma? What is melanoma? Like, what is it? We'll have to see. Melanoma comes from the Greek words melis and oma, translating to dark tumor. Melanoma is a deadly form of skin cancer centered on new or existing moles that can be found on all surfaces of the skin. It all starts with the melanocytes. These are found in the lower part of the epidermis of the skin, and when exposed to excess amount of sunlight, they darken the skin by producing more pigment. Are usually brown or black, but they can appear pink, tan, or white. Warning! There are certain signs and symptoms to caution when dealing with melanoma. A change in a new or existing mole, a new spot or patch on your skin, a band of darker skin around a fingernail or toenail are all signs and symptoms to caution. The ABCDE rule is an easy rule to follow that identifies signs of melanoma. Everybody is at risk for melanoma. Some have a higher risk than others due to certain factors. Having a family history of melanoma increases your risk for getting melanoma. Everybody loves little sun, but too much sun can put you at a higher risk for getting melanoma. Also, those who use indoor tanning beds have a high risk of getting melanoma. The risk of getting melanoma increases as people age, but there are no exclusions to younger people. Women before age 50 are at a higher risk of melanoma than men, but men are at a higher risk at ages exceeding 50. Melanoma is more common in whites than African Americans, but that does not mean that African Americans do not get melanoma. Melanoma can also reoccur in the same area or a new surface of the body not associated with the previous place. That means that those who previously had melanoma have a high risk of the reoccurrence of the disease. And we are on the road to recovery. There are different treatment options and ways to get rid of melanoma, which I will go in detail and explain in the next few seconds. Just a little tidbit to add, in London, melanoma was first successfully removed from the jaw by John Hunter. The first case of melanoma in the United States was documented by Isaac Parrish, where a 43-year-old woman had a tumor on her toe that originated from a mole or purple mark. So, there's chemotherapy. Chemotherapy uses drugs that kill cancer cells by a pill, or you can inject it directly to the bloodstream. Also, the option to remove it surgically, where they take a wide excision and cut out the melanoma and the surrounding margins to make sure that none is left. Then there's also the Mohs surgery that removes the skin in layers. And if those options do not work, or you just want to try something different, there's also radiation therapy. That is the painless therapy that alleviates symptoms of the cancer while focusing radiation from a source outside the body on the cancer. And all of this may sound good because you're getting rid of the cancer, but there are side effects. Some side effects include hair loss, skin color change, nausea, bruising, and bleeding. It's quiz time! Now it's time to put you guys to the test on melanoma. True or false? The ABCDE rule tells how likely you are to survive melanoma. If you answered false, you are correct. The ABCDE rule just gives you some guidelines to identifying melanoma. True or false? Melanoma is more common in whites than African Americans. If you answered true, you are correct. True or false? Melanoma has the ability to metastasize, meaning it can spread from one place of the body to another. And if you answered true, you are correct.